everybody. Welcome. I'm Howie Howard from Mr. Furious Records. Today on Dat Fury Radio, Lefty Grove returns with Hear Me. What's going on, Lefty?
Not much, man. Just working and living and working. How about yourself?
Lefty Grove, Ebony Simon out of Wichita, but forever part of the Lawrence scene as well.
You're too
but
kind.
you have brought us, and we email a little bit from time to time, so I had a little hint maybe of this, but you have made a rap record for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about that and your return to the full-on rap record.
It had been a while, 9 years since Left to Center came out, because that was 2016. A lot of things happened during that time. COVID happened. I left Lawrence. I moved back to Wichita to help out with my dad. I went through more jobs in the first 4 years I was here than I've ever went through in my entire working life. Just trying to find a place where I fit in. And the whole time I was making beats and working on stuff, and kind of came up with the Guinness moniker right before I left Lawrence, and then just really pushed it into full gear when I got down here. And along the way, teaching myself to mix down tracks, learning how to work with music equipment that I've never worked with. I'm good with instruments, but like actual making beats and digital and drum kits and whatnot like that, I had no clue. I just forced myself to learn it, and that's kind of the best way for me.
And you made and released a lot of beats in the interim.
Yeah, I was releasing beats as Guinness, and things were they were taking a hold. I mean, people were listening. I'm not saying they weren't listening. People were listening, but I kind of was like, well, these would sound good if somebody rapped them. And it was really hard for me to figure out how to get people to rap on them. So I just said, you know what? I'll rap on them myself. Like I will let the product sell itself with a shinier package from something that someone knows already. So that's how this album came about, to be honest. I really wasn't thinking about making another record. I was just going to release instrumental tracks, and then a couple things happened, a couple revelations in my personal life that just kind of went into this volatile cocktail I call just holding it all in, and just started writing. And I was really rusty at first, so I don't know. We talked about pressure the last time. Well, the first time we talked, we kind of talked a little bit about pressure and how that worked, but that was just my first attempt at rapping over beats I made, and those were all loops. Mm-hmm. And then in between the Pressure EP coming out and the Hear Me coming out, I just looked at the machines I was working with, and I was like, okay, we're done playing. Now we have to figure this out. And just started playing with the Axiom 25 mini keyboard that I have, and working with Logic Pro, and within Logic Pro just kind of started to watch stuff click, and then learning what I wanted out of the samples, because I already knew how to... Hello?
I'm here.
Okay.
We're good.
Sorry.
I got you. Yep.
My Bluetooth just said power off, and I was just like, plugged in. Don't do that.
As far as I can tell, everything's fine over here. I got meters. We're good.
All right, sweet. We can keep that part in too.
So keep talking. I will have layered some of Bass Squad. No, I won't, because I want people to hear it. Finish your story, then we're going to hear Bass Squad.
Okay. So, just in the process of me writing and then rewriting and then rewriting and then rewriting everything, the things that I was just like, okay, You're an artist. You're not going to be perfect. Nobody does anything perfect. So stop trying to be perfect and just write how you feel. And then as it started coming out, actually a good segue into the first song, Bass Squad. The day I wrote that song, I made that beat and I wrote the song in about an hour and a half. And it was literally the day that Astrid Gilberto died. Oh. So I was like, man, that's sad. And I found out about it. I started listening to a bunch of Astrid and I came up on a track, and that's how that worked out.
That is sad, but it's so satisfying when one comes together all the way like that.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was the saddest, most fun I've ever had making a song.
Perfect way to put it. Lefty Grove, Bass Squad. Here it comes.
Broke as fuck, back to riding the bus, making the fuss, cause I don't really know who to trust. So I keep at it alone, rocking microphones, and the zone that I'm in is encased in stone. The pace that I roam means Dom Espacio. Impossible to stop me, take your ball and go, little kid. Steady on the knock from Guinness, Mickey Mouse and the Cat, the sorcerer's apprentice. Just stating the obvious, I'm dope as hell. Nowhere near angry and old, I cast a spell. Keep the crowd hypnotized, multifaceted artist is my disguise. So don't act surprised. Verbs, noun, pronouns, adjective, Barry Sanders from the same town, though it might not be the answer. It's just keep shining bright like a solar flare. Let me take you there. Stakes medium rare. Freak the beat, release the heat. Roll with the bass squad when I hit the streets. You know I freak the beat, release the heat. Roll with the bass squad when I hit the streets. You know I freak the beat, release the heat. Roll with the bass squad.
Yeah, you really knocked the rust off that pen, huh?
Yeah. I think it was just every song on this album was just a vibe, and when I was feeling it, and that's how we ended up with these songs. So it's the best way I can describe what I did.
Did you I talked to Stick Figure a couple weeks ago. Have you listened to those?
The Stick Figure and Sean P, the newest one?
Yeah.
Whew. Man, I went out of my way to actually get a message to him to be like, dude, I am digging what you are doing. Keep doing your thing. Like, I've known that cat. Him and Marty from Ebony Test. I've known them both since they were 16 years old. And just to watch their progression and where they've ended up in the present from when they started, it's just amazing. You know, I love to see that happen. I love it for everybody.
Well, and I mention it because Stick's latest, I think there's a similar vibe between Stick's latest and Hear Me with, just a collection of, it's not quite stream of consciousness, but a collection of vibes, just like you said,
Yeah.
And each record is a fairly diverse collection of vibes, I think. Covered a lot of ground.
I think a big difference between that project from him and this project for me is that his is a more like fluid project than mine. Mine just kind of came together, I think. It was just, these are how I feel right now, and these are the best representations of what I can do. Because for me, it was more of like, I just want the people that like Lefty Grove to know that I still got it. Like, it's a different lane, and that's why I like what Stick is doing. That's why I loved what Ebony Tusk was doing when they were around. I love what I'm doing. I love what Approach is doing. I love what Nate Holt. I love all the things that he's doing. Shout out to Nate. So many people that I came up with from like the class of 2000 is kind of what I call it with the Lawrence hip hop scene. Like, we are all either still committed to music in one way or another, or still actually currently doing and releasing music. Pretty much all of us, and the ones that aren't, I'm really sure they have their reasons. Some have passed away, some have just moved on from that. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But like, all those people are still being created in one way or another, and it's really cool to see.
Absolutely. So Nate's got a record. I haven't heard it, but he's got a record done or almost done that Royce is really excited about. Royce has been working with him on it. Nice. And we may have even mentioned this on the show earlier. There, at one point, it was going to come out early in the year, and kind of at Royce's urging, I think they have pushed it back to really polish it up and put a bigger push behind the release and plan it out a little more. But Nate's got something that Royce tells me is amazing coming soon. No date. And again, I haven't heard it myself, but I'm excited too.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that now. I didn't even know. I think we talked about it a little bit, but it was one of those things where it was almost an in passing type of thing since we were busy talking about other stuff. But now that I know that there could be one of those coming up soon, yes.
It's definitely coming. But we're here to listen to Hear Me, and let's hear a little bit of the Quantum Realm.
I have a funny anecdote about this song.
All right. Well, hang on for a second, because I do, like I said in the part I'll edit out. Oh, we're just going behind the curtain on the podcast tonight, but I want people to hear these verses, and we got time to do it.
Yeah.
Not a part of the problem as much as I used to be. Past life, me, loved chaos and infamy. These days I'm chilling out, barely leaving my house. I still don't have a spouse on these beats, I'm wildin' out though. Take you on this trip to see where I've been. Probably change your mental with this psilocybin pen. Indoctrinate your mind with 3-minute symphonies. Wrote a song in 09 entitled We Could Be. Listen, since 1999 I've been releasing tracks. Enemies at the gate, but I just beat them back. Got the title like Mysterio Ray. Here we don't play. Use my tech to make people sway. I ain't talking about a gun, I'm talking wake up show. So if you don't know now, keep up but be slow. K-I-M, yesterday is gone until tomorrow. I'll strap you into a silver chair lined in sorrow. I'm just the captain at the helm.
All right, tell us your anecdote.
I hope I don't get myself in trouble for this, but this song was made under the influence of a certain capped vegetable that will make you do things awkwardly for about 6 to 8 hours. And a moment of questioning how much I like Bjork. So,
that's a deep question for you.
It's a super deep question, and that's exactly how this song came about. Like, there's only 2 parts of this song that aren't from a 3-second sample of Bjork. Like, it's not even 3 seconds, to be honest.
Sure, yeah.
It's just a total of like 3 snippets that add up to about 1.5 seconds, maybe. But yeah, I was just like, between that and then for some reason the particular song that I sampled came up on my Apple Music playlist. Sorry, yeah, I went Apple instead of Spotify. But it came up on my playlist, and then the very next song after that was J. Rue the Damage. So that's kind of where the hook came from. You don't know enough math to count the mics that I went. Is part of like his first verse on Come Clean. So I was listening to that, and like Bjork came up, and then J. Rue came up, and I was just like, nice. In the middle of like being out of my mind. So
did you get any insights about the Bjork question? Like, did you gain any?
I gained a ton of perspective. The main piece of knowledge that I gained from that was continue to be yourself. Like, Bjork is, if anything, herself at all times, you know, especially when it comes to the music that she creates. And it's a reason that she's my favorite solo artist is because the words can't be done musically don't really apply to what she does. Like, just watching her first 7 albums were all produced musically in a different way. You know, including one that was all vocals. And that's just something where it's like, you're never going to stop being yourself. And I love that about you. And that's why I love Bjork. So that song came out of that. I did have to wake up the next day and pray that I actually like wrote something coherent down. And I think I did.
Definitely, but yeah, I can imagine pressing play on that for the first time and just see, not knowing what you're going to hear.
Yeah. By the way, before we get to the next song,
yeah,
I recorded all of these tracks for Hear Me at NLR Studios here in Wichita, Kansas. So if you like the sound quality of what you're hearing, being how we're playing it now or when you stream it, that's all a big shout out to Ballistic in NLR Studios here in Wichita. I made the conscious decision that I was going to have a second set of ears. I wasn't going to record this in my house and just put it out there. This is something that I'm serious about. And it's a piece of art, and this is like my art showing at a gallery, except the gallery is wherever you want to download it and listen to it. So I wanted to make sure that I got a professional's opinion and a professional's ear on top of this as well. So
nice. It shows. I'll link to that in the notes. Best place to stream free or download Hear Me is probably leftygrove2.bandcamp.com. I'll link to that as well, or obviously wherever you stream your music. If you
everywhere but Spotify,
somewhere else. Agreed. It's Hustle off Hear Me.
We don't wait for handouts. We go out and get it. Admit it. You only know.
Great sample.
I'm glad I found it. It was awesome.
Musical like show tunes, old school slow flow. You just assume out of tune with the modern era while I evolve. Put me in your iPhone and the mystery solved. The beat is Dr. Watson and I'm Sherlock Holmes to y'all. Finding truth in the proof that I made this beat blazing heat. I get around like word on the street, yet I'm underrated and unknown. I stay chill. Remember the days when I was popping all them pills, and no, I don't miss them because I'm on a mission. The sun's blinds a lot of y'all, ruins the vision. Prove it or show it. Then when you notice, one of the few who regain real focus, releasing dope shit. I just got a lot of hustle. Lenny and George, I am the brains and the muscle. Feel the grapes of wrath, get out my path, have to laugh at your bad math. Listen, I just got a lot of hustle. Lenny and George, I am the brains and the muscle. Feel my grapes of wrath, get out the path, and I have to laugh at your bad math. Some of us 9 to 5, some of us hit the block. I chose to punch the clock instead of shoot the Glock.
Yeah, the pen is working by this point. I mean, just in the first like 8 lines, you've got all this, there's internal rhymes going on, then you break the rhyme scheme completely, later on. And I pointed out because, for a lot of listeners who maybe aren't used to doing a close listen on rap, with your flow, a lot of that stuff might just slide by the first couple times you listen because it's such an easy flow. The technical aspects may not just jump out at people.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. That's not something I consciously attempt. That's just how the song makes me feel. As we get deeper into the record, it starts to wave up and down on how I feel, and then like this next song after this one, like this one is I did the drums on this one, and I believe I did this before I thought I had erased all of the drum kit that you sent me. I'm pretty sure this is from that first book or that first file that you sent me.
Sure, yeah.
I want to say I took a metal drum, like a ZZ Top cymbal, I think it was. Okay. And then I cut that in half and shrunk it. And that's why it sounds like that. But I did make those drums on the Axiom through that sample.
Yeah, and about the rhymes, like it comes off very smooth. I'm not saying it feels like you're banging us over the head with technical stuff. It's more, I know that stuff is so, you're so marinated in it, right? And that it just, yeah, like you're saying, it comes out in the vibe without necessarily a conscious thought, like, oh, look what I'm gonna do, it just comes out.
Yeah, and I would hate to ever release something that did sound like that, like, look at what I'm trying to do, look at what I can do, just because I can do it. That's kind of my biggest fear, and that was my biggest fear in releasing this as a full project, because I was going to make 2 different EPs out of it. But I just decided to do one full length, because if I'm going to believe in anything, I'm going to believe in myself, because that will make everybody else believe in me too. So,
yeah, I'm glad this is a long play. This hangs together really well. I mean, it certainly doesn't overstay its welcome. You could easily put another song or 2 on it, but it's real easy on the runtime. But I like the statement of the album for this stuff. I really do.
Thanks. I appreciate that. That doesn't. It's awesome to hear that from someone else, because when I think it in my head, because I do think that same way, but like in my own version of saying what you just said. But if I say it out loud, it comes off as cocky. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, this is a really good album. You should check it out. And people are going to be like, yeah, brother, whatever. And just kind of push it to the side. Like, oh, that's Ebony. He does this thing. And I didn't really want to have that feeling. I never want to have that feeling on any music that I put out. And sometimes I feel like I not necessarily sold myself short, but just really just kind of put music out to be putting music out instead of like having a purpose behind it. And that all changed when Left to Center started coming into fruition as like a fully realized project. And then this one was just like, you know what? Approach and I did a great job on Left to Center. IJ made some great beats. Approach recorded it, mixed it. He was cool enough to put it out on Datura's label. And I will forever be indebted to that dude. He will forever get flowers from me. I don't care if anybody else gives him flowers. I'm giving him his flowers. Cause he's never been a gatekeeper, anything like that. I know I talk about this a lot, and it seems like I'm just like being this huge super stan about Approach, but like that was the coolest thing ever. And this was this project is kind of one of those, hey, I learned a lot from being around Approach and being in the studio with Approach. Let me see how much of this I can like execute without Approach's hand on it. You know what I mean? Like I sent him songs and stuff when they were done, and he was like, yo, this is dope. But it was more like, can I do this the way that I saw him do this in my own way of doing this? So that goes a long way in making me feel good about what I've done. So.
And that's how we learn and develop and grow. And then that gives you something completely hypothetically. If you did another thing together in the future, now you have something new you can bring to it as well. So it keeps evolving and growing.
Yeah. And that is another goal of mine. Hopefully before this year is up, I can start working on a project with Approach. I'm going to put it out I'm going to put it in the ether and manifest it. We're both going to get some free time sometime this year to link up and put out a project.
Back in 01, I met my homie IJ. We don't talk now, but he's the homie to this day. My man got bars and he dope on the knocks. Enough that I was okay not being out on the block. And I know life happened, so we lost contact. Nowadays I rage against machines making bomb tracks. Yet if he hit me up again, the combination is winning. Cause he's down from the beginning, even when I was sinning. I'm living for today, tomorrow isn't promised. By the time I day, you will know one of the bombest musicians. At a KANSAS, call me whack-a-dope. To answer to both is yes. Out of bounds like a substitute, all about getting loot. About to torture your ears like bamboo shoots. In your nail bed, skating on the beat like they want. Watch these raps get up in your guts like Raekwon. Living a life so charmed that even when you're missing, we still brothers in arms. Hey yo, I mean no harm, but I'm tired of working on Maggie's farm. Living a life so charmed that even when you're missing, we still brothers in arms. Hey yo, I mean no harm, but I'm tired of working on Maggie's farm. Nice try, Mr. Nice Guy, fired up.
Tell me, on my listen yesterday, a detail that really jumped out at me about the whole album was your doubles and your ad-libs and, you know, all your secondary vocals around the main vocal. And I just realized, like, it sounds like you put a lot of time and effort into that.
That is actually a big reason why I wanted to make sure I gave a shout out to NLR Studios, because it was just me and Ballistic in the studio. Like, we did 2 sessions, and he was really big on like making it sound fuller. So a lot of it is just him kind of pushing me to be bigger on the ad-libs and the overdubs. A lot of that's just him. And then some of it's just me having those moments in the studio where there's a word or two out of place and I still kind of squish it in to make it fit. But that was pretty much 50-50 on the album. Like, a lot of that was him pushing me into being bigger on the overdubs, because I have a very specific way of recording. Mm-hmm. And it's really rigid because I'm just so used to doing it myself.
Sure.
And when you have another person in there, they can kind of get you to slow down and see the bigger picture. And that was a lot of it. He just helped me slow down and see the big picture. And he was like, this may sound better if you do it like this. And then we do it, and I'd listen back to it and be like, I'm glad I'm paying for this. This is awesome. So that's kind of how that works. You know, like, I refuse to take full credit for this. I'm only responsible for the raps and for the beats. And that's it. Everything else is just a combination of me and Ballistic in the studio and just fingers to the grindstone. Sorry, I was looking for the metaphor.
No, you're good. I'm just thinking, I mean, the raps and the beats are a lot of it. That's most of the project. I understand, I understand recording and mixing and production. Yeah. The raps and the beats are a lot of it.
I took I took my time with this one too. This was like a 2-year process to put this all together. And there are songs that, oh God, I think I had about 25 songs written for this whole project. None of which will be on the next project, because I plan on doing another Lefty Grove project pretty quick. Just at least getting it recorded, but I want to see this one just get a full cycle. But I also just cut those songs down, and I just chopped and chopped and chopped until I found the songs that I felt the most comfortable letting represent me as a beat maker, and then the rhymes that went the best over those beats. And that was it. But I did put a couple of instrumentals on here, and this one is Burn Ends. And I just kind of did that so people could see the other side of me as the beat maker. And a lot of beat makers that I know or that I'm a fan of, they all put out, like, if they rap, there will be an instrumental on the album for most of them. And at this point in time, I was just talking to Marty about this the other day, like listening to a lot of Black Milk. Like, a level that I strive to get to will forever be the level of artistry that Black Milk is.
That is, so I discovered Black Milk just a couple years ago with the release of Everybody Good, which sent me, which blew my mind and sent me, you know, back through the catalog. And there's one, I have not listened to the new one. He put one out just a month or two ago, maybe.
Dive, I think it's called.
I don't have the title at my fingertips, but I haven't listened to it yet because I know, you know, I need the time. Like I've got two levels of things in my, you know, whether it's an email from Bandcamp or a tab open on my computer or whatever. There's the ones that I can listen to in the background and like check out. Yeah, I'll give it 10 minutes, 15 minutes, see what it is. And maybe that grabs my attention and pulls me deeper in. But then there's like the big ones. It's like, oh no, when I hit play on this, I want to have an hour to hear the whole thing. And it might not be like a completely deep focused listen where I'm only doing that, but like I do not want to pause this once I hit play. And the new Black Milk record falls into the latter category.
Whew. I just listened to No Poison, No Paradise today, just for the first time in a while, and it's like, dude, why am I still making music? This dude is just so far ahead of me. But then I also realized that Black Milk probably has some producers that he listens to where he's like, dude, why am I even making music? They're so far ahead. So, you know, that's good motivation too.
Right, we can spiral around and lift each other up that way. Because I don't know him obviously, and I haven't read this in an interview or anything, but you could just tell from the music he doesn't just listen to hip hop.
Oh no!
You know, there's whether it's probably everything, but there's definitely some other genre that he doesn't make that he listens to and gets that feeling.
Yeah. I have moments like that too. Like I have one artist to get off my bucket list of artists that I want to see, and it's honestly it's Bjork. But next week, or not next week, but Easter weekend, I'm going to Denver to see Mogwai, which is my favorite band. So this will be the third time I've seen them. But pretty much when they come to America, if they're within a day's drive of me, I'm probably going to go see them. So, I mean, I feel like Black Milk in that sense of like, I won't knock it until I try it. And there's something beautiful in almost every genre of music. Even the ones I don't like have bands that I'll just, yeah, you know what? I could listen to them if I'm going to be stuck listening to this.
Yeah.
Except for like, you know, Nazi punk and stuff like that.
I was about to say goes without saying. Maybe it doesn't go without saying these days, so we'll say it.
Yeah.
Nazi punks, fuck off.
All day long. And they stole my favorite hardcore band name. Came up with the idea in like 2007. I wanted to do a hardcore band and call it Boot Party. And then I was looking up to see if anybody was Boot Party, and there was some stupid Nazi band from Portland. Which, ironically, makes all the sense in the world.
It does, yeah. At the same time. Just saying it right out loud like that. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the thing about music in every genre and Black Milk. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's get back. Let's get back on some positive stuff.
Lefty, don't go anywhere on the podcast here. Do have a safe and enjoyable trip to hear Mogwai. Listeners, thanks for listening. This show marks this is show 26, which I'm counting as 6 continuous months of weekly Dat Fury Radio. And thanks for joining us on this journey. And the journey continues next week with more with Lefty and the back half of Hear Me, which you can pick up at leftygrove2.bandcamp.com. Link in the description. Yeah. Until then.
Peace.